We're going to try something a little different on Table Talk. We're not going to talk about a Hold'em hand, Jonathan, because it's not 2002 anymore.
No. We're going to debate Bruce Springsteen lyrics.
We don't want to do that.
I'm on fire. Is it about pedophilia? Or is it just a man talking about a woman he loves?
When you look at the lyrics on paper, it doesn't read great. That's all I'm going to say. If you just take a look at the lyrics, you might be like, what court deposition is this from? Anyway.
Hey, little girl, is your daddy home? And then little Larry says, hey, little girl, is he good to you? Does he do to you the things that I do? I think she's just talking about her like boyfriend, but he's calling her daddy like her old man. But I think it is up for debate.
I don't want to talk about it anymore. I have 2 daughters. Stop it, Bruce Springsteen.
Right.
Stop doing that. Bruce Springsteen.
It's a classic. It's a classic song.
Creeps. Anyway, we're going to teach y'all about a new thing that you probably haven't heard of before. It's called a lockout. And it's a very strange format that I think might only be played in Portland, but it's very high variance, and the pots get big and they get interesting. It's a 5-card PLO high game. So you play 2 from your hand and 3 from the board, like PLO, but you get 5 cards. But the way that it works in the game that I play, which is the 1K or the 1500 max buy, which is either 1-3-6 or 5-5, is the lockouts happen twice in orbit, and the button puts $25 out as like an ante, or it's their bet. It's a forced bet on the button. Yeah. And every other player gets their 5 cards, and they can decide to either call or fold. They can't raise the $25. When it gets to the button can raise if they want to. And then it's just open action, normal PLO style action, pot limit. Mm-hmm. It's very dangerous to raise on the button because it's $25 is a lot when you're talking the pot limit game. If 4 people limp, it's $150 when you raise. And if they repot it, we're talking $600. And, it gets big fast. And equities run close together in 5-card PLO high.
No one ever folds once they start putting money in pre-flop.
Right, because it's actually kind of incorrect to, unless you have just the worst of the worst hand. Because most double suited aces don't have that great of equity against 3 other hands that are like 9, 10, Jack, Queen, King. It's a very banana-y game that is high variance and causes major pots to happen, and causes a lot of interesting spots. And we've been playing this at Portland Meadows for 6 months now, pretty regularly, and the game's evolved over time. At first, everybody was just nut hunting, right? Like it's just there's not bluffing, you're just nut peddling, except for a few wild players who are just giving money away. And then people started realizing that you can bluff with the nut spade blocker, the nut diamond blocker. That's the obvious bluff. That's obvious, is that. And it was working every time. But then people started adjusting and calling that. So the game is at a point now where people understand it a little bit better. We're not playing that deep effectively because the max buy is 1K or 1500, and it's $25. It's essentially a $25 blind game, which is insane stakes compared to the 1-3-6 or 5-5. I don't know why we have it. It's obviously too big, but it's hard to change now. Mm-hmm. And it really makes so there's a lot more chips on the table because people are busting and rebuying. So it's kind of good for the rest of the ecosystem of the game, assuming people don't go bust. Anyway, in this particular lockout, I am on the button. And there are 3 limps, including the most important player, who is the cutoff. This is a player who I have very little sense of. This is the 2nd day in a row that he's played, but those are the only 2 times I've seen him. He seems to be an amateur. His Hold'em play is not particularly impressive, but he's there. He's like having fun. I'm not sure what his level of understanding of lockouts and PLO is. A lot of people in this game came into playing these lockouts with no PLO background, so there's kind of like we're all figuring it out together. It's interesting. Yeah. Anyway, he's got 1K. I have 2K on the button, and my hand is 5 cards. So get ready to listen. 10 of spades, 7 of spades, 6 of clubs, 3 of clubs, deuce of hearts. So 10, 7, 6, 3 deuce.
Okay.
It's like not a great hand, but it's okay. It's double suited. It has some connectivity. I check the button because it's like kind of hard to find a spot where you actually want to raise the button in a lockout. It really is. The pot's 100. The flop is a miracle. It's the deuce of clubs, 4 of spades, 5 of spades. So not only do I flop the nuts with the 6-3, I also have a 7 in my hand. So I have a redraw to a higher straight. I also have the 10 and the 7 of spades. which is good. I also have a deuce in my hand, which doesn't help my hand, but it blocks full houses from getting there.
Right.
Which is the main concern. The spades and full houses are the main concern with a hand like this. It checks to the guy in the cutoff who bets 60 into the pot of 100. And are you ever doing anything but potting it here?
I guess when we have the blockers to the flush, which means we have a redraw if we're up against the nuts as well. Like, we would love to get it in and be free rolling here, right?
Yeah.
We might be free. Now, once in a while, we're getting free rolled, of course. And we could also get it in where we both have the straight and someone else decides not to fold. But we can push out better flushes by raising here a lot. I think it's very clear to pot.
Yeah. So I did. I pot for 280.
Good.
He calls. Doesn't repot. I was kind of hoping for a repot because,
of course,
there's a lot of times where he just has the same hand as me and I'm free rolling him. And that's
of course
pretty nice.
And there's a lot of cards now that are going to come where you're not always going to know what to do, right? If he puts a lot of money in suddenly. So it's great to get it in right now where it's clear, at least. We still have the nuts. It's okay.
Well, good thing a card's going to come where I don't know what to do, or else this wouldn't be very interesting, would it?
Yeah.
It's the ace of spades on the turn.
Oh, okay.
Which is the most interesting spade for sure, because that means he didn't have the nut flush draw before, right?
Yes.
Like, he chose to call the flop. This is where his level of understanding of the game really comes into play. Like, I don't really know what he thinks is a good hand in this game. Like, everybody who plays it regularly knows that the 10 high flush that I have now is not particularly happy to have made a flush. No,
of course not.
It was mostly just like I have blockers to him making a flush. That was the main value of that.
Or you can free roll. Or you can free roll with it when you both have the nuts. That's it.
Yeah. But it being the ace of spades is far more interesting than it being the king of spades, because we know that his main value wasn't that he had the nut flush draw on the turn.
Right.
Nonetheless, he pots it. He just leads in for 660, which is almost the remainder of his stack. So how do you approach this situation with a player that you mostly don't know, but you feel like is quite amateurish, and it's like pretty unclear how competent he is at PLO specifically, but it doesn't seem like he's going to be hyper competent.
It seems to me like in that case, we just can't fold. Like, if it's a guy who may not know how to value his hands correctly, he might do this with a set because he doesn't know what else to do with it. He might do this with a straight because he doesn't know what to do with it. He might do it with a worse flush because he doesn't know what to do with it. Or just thinks like, oh, I made my flush, I bet. Which is not even maybe bad if he only has a pot back anyway. I think we just can't fold, even though we're definitely going to get it and lose a fair amount. There's just no folding based on this player profile.
I think you're probably right. I think maybe we fold on the king, queen, or jack of spades. Like, or any other spade, 8 of spades, just because he just has the nut flush so much more frequently then.
Yeah.
But he has to, in order to have the nut flush, he has to have the king high spades, which he could have just had the nuts with the king high spades. That's possible.
Uh-huh. Absolutely.
But it's a little surprising to not have him just repot it on the flop with that. You would think he would do
Agreed.
that. And I think you're right. I think I'm supposed to call. But I just talked myself into a fold. I just did it. I just was like, part of it being that I have absolutely no redraws if I'm losing. It's over, right? If I had 2 pair at least, I could talk myself into, at least I have outs if he has a bigger flush than me.
Yeah.
But it's just over if I'm losing. And
I feel like the fact that he isn't deeper makes me more interested in calling too. If he had another 1,000 back, now we're making this $600 decision now or whatever it is, and then we're going to have another $1,000 decision a lot of times on the river, where most of the time when we put more money in, we're dead. Like if he decides to bet again, right? And even sometimes if he checks, we still lose sometimes, right? He might decide to check, like the board could pair and he could check the king high spades, and I don't know that we would turn our hand into a bluff there anyway. I don't know, but I think a lot of times we might just see if we're good, even though we're probably not. So the fact that it's just, we get to effectively just end the hand, close the action of the hand for good permanently, makes me much more interested in calling. And we are getting 2-1, so we don't have to win that often, at least to break even. If we're winning 1 out of 3 times here, we're breaking even, right?
Yeah.
So that's good.
I do think it's a call. I just, in my mind, I couldn't get past okay, I don't know if this guy is capable of randomly having the king of spades in his hand and deciding to turn it into a bluff. So I don't think there's any bluffs here. I think it's just that he's overvaluing a hand if I'm winning.
Because he could have worse spades and just be betting because it's I'm just protecting my hand here.
There's not that many worse spades available. I guess it's possible.
Yeah, that's true.
You know, if it's a player that I've played with a lot who I know is like an understanding of what are good hands in this game, then I think this is actually mostly a fold unless it's one of the players who really likes to find the king of spades bluff, which is hard to have, right? You have to have just the one spade being the king of spades on this board and just happen to have also a set or something like that.
It has to be an accident, right? Like they flopped the nuts also, but they didn't have any redraws, so they wanted to call to see a card come off. They're like, oh, spade. Now there's some good things. I can put pressure on your sets. I don't want to go check. I can put pressure on every hand you have, essentially, when I have the king of spades in my hand by accident. But if they're not a player who you know is going to be doing that a lot, then, you could probably just fold.
Yeah. I ended up folding because I think I just, like, assigned too many of the normal player values to this guy. I don't know what he had. He said he had a straight, but I'm not sure. He seems like a bit of a trolley type guy, so it's possible that that's not what he had. I'm not sure. Like, I'm still unclear on how competent he is. Like, I don't have enough. What if he had
the ace 3 of straight? You know, he even had the worst straight. It's not completely impossible. Oh, that's very funny. Anyway, whatever he actually had, that's pretty great.
Yeah. Yep. So anyway, I lost that hand, and I really think I should have called. This is one I brought to you knowing that I didn't like my play. I expected you to agree, but now the world knows that I'm a fish. Congratulations, I'm bad at PLO.
They finally figured it out.
You know, I'm a little tougher at Hold'em. Find me a PLO, you can crush me.
Tired of being tired of being sick. In my head 24/7, how I'm supposed to pay the rent. Mr. Practice, I don't play. Friday nights we on the bench, trying to come up with a play. If it don't work, then hit a lick. 12 knocking at my door, pain ain't tell. I'm studying her word, pray her baby excel. Got away with way too much, should've got expelled, but the school saw my potential. Smart kid trying to rebel.